What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and the stimulus check update. And it is a crazy day going on here today. The stock market is crashing. The crypto markets is crashing. The Federal Reserve is going crazy. We might see a lot going here forward as the Federal Reserve is going, what are we going to do? The White House is going crazy. And, well, even Congress is like, if this was 2020 or 2021, they would be rushing to send out another stimulus check and another stimulus package. But things are a little bit different now. Things are a little bit different because of inflation. And they're all like, well, we don't want to stoke the inflation fire. But if we go back a year or two and this was happening right now, they would be rushing to send out another stimulus check to save our economy because look at how bad things are. Yeah, look at this. Dow Jones dives, Tesla stocks slammed, Amazon's getting slammed today. Bitcoin absolutely destroyed here today. Panic, fear in the markets, blood in the streets, if you've heard it say. In fact, oh my God. In fact, Bitcoin today here, the crypto markets, down 15% in one day. Wow. Look at a 1-year chart here. Bitcoin, the high was around 67,000. It's at 23,000. Yikes. That's way less than half. It's down over 50% here, just in a little bit over 6 months. Yikes. And yeah, in fact, it's down so much today that massive crypto firms, Binance and Celsius, have halted withdrawals as Bitcoin plummets. They literally halted withdrawals. And remember, there's millions of people that have money in crypto. I mean, crypto's a pretty big thing nowadays. I mean, it's all over the world. And stock market, I mean, of course, the stock market is much, much bigger. It's been around for hundreds of years. The Dow Jones index down almost 1,000 points today, 876 points here today. Wow. Remember, over 50% of Americans have money in the stock market through 401ks, even pensions. Pensions that, if people that actually still have pensions are invested in the stock market. That's how they grow over time. Basically, the 401k is just the modern day version of a pension. You can see a 1-year chart here. We're well below the 1-year low. A year ago, we were at 34,400. Now we're at 30,500. So we're well below 10% lower than we were a year ago. Well below that. You can see here the NASDAQ down almost 5% in just one day. Mostly tech stocks here. Yeah, absolutely just... not a good day here. Just panic, fear everywhere. The economy is just getting crushed. Tesla electric cars down over 7% in one day. Yikes. Amazon over 5% in one day. We're talking about billions of dollars here lost in a single day for these companies. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And all this is a reaction to the Friday news. We had the Friday news, and really this is the next trading day here on Monday. Inflation. The inflation numbers are out. They're at 8.6%, worse than expected. And what everybody is kind of known, but it's worse. And the problem here is inflation is getting worse. The price of gas is getting worse. The real problem with gas is that gas prices at the pump are much higher than what oil actually relates to. Yeah, I mean, you could see here the national average price of gas 501, the highest it's ever been. Insane. The price of diesel 577. The bigger problem here is we have other states like California, absolutely just crazy. You can see here 643 and 699 for diesel. California prices are insane because of taxes and they have a different blend of gas. Other states like Arizona, 531 and 581 for diesel. And really, when you look at these prices, like Arizona at 531 and 581, when the price of oil is at 120, it's don't get me wrong, that's really high. We've seen higher in the past. The question here is that these prices of gas really relate to, I mean, like gas at like 160 a barrel or even higher. I mean, why is gas unbelievably high? Why does it continue to go higher and higher every day? We look at Arizona a month ago, it was 472. Now it's 531. It's gone up 60 cents in a month for Arizona and really for the country as well. Look at the country 501, 443. That's 60 cents for the country. It's gone up in a month. Oil, price of oil has been, I mean, we were around 115 ish, maybe 110. But really, we've been around, we've gone up maybe a few percent in the last month. But surely we haven't gone up enough to go up 60 cents in a month. Or if you look here in the last week, really now it's 15 cents in the last week. But if we were looking here, that's because, you know, each day keeps ticking by. At one point, it was like 30 cents in the last week. It's insane. It's insane. We also look here, the federal government here is, I'll get to that here in a second here. White House takes a new look at federal gas tax holiday to try to send some relief for the entire country for gas tax reprieve. Gas tax reprieve. We have a lot of states doing this, but the federal government could do this as well, but they would need Republicans to help pass it. You know, technically, they could do this through the reconciliation process because it would affect the budget. It would affect the federal budget. That's pretty much the main rule, is that anything that passed through the reconciliation process, it needs to affect the federal budget. So, I mean, of course, the Senate parliamentarian would have to rule on it, not me. But I'm pretty confident it would pass muster. Of course, they would need the votes. Whether the Republicans would vote for it, passing it without that, they wouldn't need Republican votes to pass it with the reconciliation process. They would only need Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. Joe Manchin does seem on board right now for a new version of the Build Back Better package that they've been working on. He has met with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer at least 3 times right now behind closed doors that we have now learned about. So they're kind of going about it a little bit, I don't even know how to put it, maybe a better way, where they're not kind of telling us about every detail along the way. Maybe that's a better strategy for them because it's not televised along the way every step. And, you know, last time around, everybody was critiquing every step along the way and didn't really work out so well for them. Yeah. But the problem here is, how do we fix all this? The White House is showing signs that is more seriously considering a federal gas tax holiday, sources tell The Hill. President Biden's economic team has discussed the gas tax holiday recently and is expected to meet later this week for further talks. The White House is under political pressure to do something to provide relief to Americans dealing with high inflation and rising gas prices. This also could be stimulus checks. I'll get to this here in a second on what they want to do with leftover stimulus money. The economic storm has created serious headwinds for Democrats ahead of the midterm, where the party is worried about a shellacking. Yikes. Quote, it's definitely an option on the table, said one Democrat close to the White House. Suspending the federal gas tax would require an act of Congress, but a public push by Biden in favor of public policy could help spur action on Capitol Hill. Some are pitching the White House on the idea. Robert Wolf, the former CEO of UBS America, who served as an economic advisor to former President Obama, said he is supportive of the Biden administration implementing a federal gas tax holiday, but only during the period of Russia's war in Ukraine, which has driven up the prices. He said most of the recent price increases in gas are linked to the Russian war. Quote, I know that some may view this as somewhat gimmicky because it will revert itself at some point, hopefully sooner than later. But a majority of the recent gas hike since the beginning of the year has been due to the Russian invasion, Wolf told The Hill on Monday. I think tying it solely to the war and setting an end date makes it more strategic and smart. I also think it ties directly into the Putin price hike narrative and aligns well with President Biden's concerns about how inflation is impacting hard-working Americans, and he will use every tool available. Also, a handful of states have already moved to suspend their state gas taxes, and Wolf said he would support Biden calling on the remaining states that haven't yet done so to follow suit as well. The other question here is, what does Congress want to do with the $800 billion or so of unspent stimulus money that is already approved and left over, just sitting there in basically checking accounts held by the federal government, left over from stimulus package 1, stimulus package 2 from former President Donald Trump, and stimulus package 3 from current President Biden? All that kind of combined and left over from various approved programs but not spent equals $800 billion and is basically approved unallocated money that they can reallocate for whatever they want. In the past, former President Donald Trump did an executive order and reallocated money from the disaster relief fund with an executive order and sent out checks or stimulus checks, whatever you want to call them, and sent them out to millions of Americans for the unemployment bonus checks. If we go back to 2020, before the election, okay, they were $300 per week for 6 weeks for a total of $1,800, and some states kicked in an extra $100 as well. Okay, so again, the key there was that it was unspent money that was already approved by Congress. That's where the president could step in and do an executive order. This is basically the exact same thing. This is unspent money that's already approved by Congress. Same thing, okay? So they can use this money through executive order. They could use this money for an upcoming stimulus package. They can use this money and be reallocated through Congress. It's there. How they use it, we don't know yet, but they know it's there. In fact, you can see here, actually, it was just up here today or maybe yesterday. Congressman Scott proposes putting at least some of the unused COVID relief funds to improve school security. Well, because that's a glaring issue that we've kind of realized with all these mass shootings. And remember that the Senate has announced a deal on gun reform hasn't passed yet, but I have a really good video on that. I'll link you to here. Republicans and Democrats have come to a compromise deal on that. And it's kind of like when the country just kind of came to the realization that we had a major airport security issue, from 9/11, and we needed to do something about it. Well, a lot of people, we've had a mass shooting issue for a while. I mean, we average more shootings, mass shootings, than days in the year. We have, on average, about 10 per week. Okay, mass shooting is considered four or more people shot or killed per shooting in a shooting, not including the gunman. I know it's crazy. So even Republicans apparently are going to step up. And what's interesting here about this is you can see the list here. Here are the 10 Senate Republicans out of 50 Senate Republicans. We'll have to see if there will be more. But there are 10 Senate Republicans who are backing the bipartisan gun bill. And a lot of them are ones that are sponsored or paid by the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Here they are. Yeah, the bipartisan group was made up of 20 senators, including 10 Republican lawmakers, many of whom are strong supporters of gun rights and political allies of the powerful NRA, and have it's public information that they have taken money from them for their political campaigns, and in a lot of cases millions of dollars, but they're going to pass this legislation. It's not a super legislation that's going to ban anything, or but it is a step in the right direction. These Republicans, at least 10 of them, are Senator John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, who was kind of the leader of the group, and he's from Texas, so he's there. Senate Minority Mitch McConnell, Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, Republican Senator Roy Blunt from Missouri. I always think that's Montana, M-O, but it's actually Missouri. Rob Portman from Ohio, who says, quote, "We have the opportunity to do something addressing mental and behavioral health that we should be doing anyway." He noted that he doesn't want to infringe on citizens who abide by gun laws. He also expressed interest in making juvenile records more accessible in the system to prevent dangerous individuals from obtaining firearms. But note that that's only for juveniles, ages 18 to 21, not necessarily background checks for everybody. Republican Senator Richard Burr from North Carolina. He has received nearly $7 million in donations from the NRA, but apparently is still going to vote for this legislation. So good for him if he does. Republican Senator Mitt Romney, who has received more than $13.5 million from the NRA, but said in a tweet after the Uvalde shooting that, quote, "We must find answers to the issue." He said families deserve to feel safe and secure in their communities. And I'm proud to join my colleagues on this common sense bipartisan proposal that will save lives while also protecting the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans, and it deserves broad support. And in the past, Romney has regularly opposed Democratic proposed gun control measures, though he said in 2018 that he was open to considering more effective background checks. And I actually applaud a lot of the Republicans here that are stepping up, because this is an issue. This is a problem. I think a lot of people have realized this. They're not taking away anybody's guns, but we're putting in some type of minimal protective measures. And this is not going to prevent all of the issues going forward, but we have to take some steps in the right directions. Let me know your thoughts. We also have Republican Senator Bill Cassidy. I'm surprised he's in there, actually. especially because he suggested that red flag laws and expanded background checks were not the right solution to the problem. So we'll see if he actually votes yes. Republican Senator Susan Collins from Maine, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Wow. He is a retired and former military member, and also he was in the Air Force, if I recall correctly. And Republican Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. He said that he wants to ensure background checks on all firearm sales, which they are not currently doing, but that is something that he would like. Republican Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina joined other lawmakers this week to introduce a bill, he says this week, that is designed to make schools safer. He's also joined by other Republicans, Roger Marshall from Kansas and Mike Garcia from California, that would allow schools to use unspent COVID stimulus relief dollars through through elementary and secondary school relief funds for security measures. This common sense bill takes an important step in the right direction to use unspent stimulus money to make schools safer, an absolute no-brainer. These measures could include locks, panic buttons, individual room safety, security, video surveillance, hiring, and paying the salaries of armed school resource officers. This act would exempt schools' expenses, improvements for current ESSER guidelines, and require expenses to be related to the pandemic. What happened in Uvalde was a horrific tragedy. While many have been quick to play politics, one thing we can all agree on in Congress is that we must act to harden schools. Nationwide, one of the $189 billion of stimulus COVID money awarded was under ESSER. State education agencies have yet to spend $150 billion of it, or 79%. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. Do you think there's another way they should spend this money? Of course, this is just a fraction of the money. They could send out stimulus checks and do this and still have leftover stimulus money. Yeah, so I'll keep you up to date here. You can click here to watch my newest video on Social Security raises for $2,400 that just came out, and this video on stimulus checks that just came out as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.